All right, back to the midterms. What's really motivating voters to turn out this week? While issues like Ebola, terrorism, immigration, well, they're all dominating media coverage. Our own Fox News polls, and Leland just showed you this, showed that voters say the economy is still the most important issue facing the country. Joining me now to talk about the state of the economy, midterms, how it all runs together, author of How to Really Ruin Your Financial Life and Portfolio. Although we suspect he knows nothing about that, economist Ben Stein. Always good to see you.
Always good to see you, beautiful Shannon.
Well, listen, handsome Ben Stein, you saw our poll there. Economy, top of the list still for most people because it's their daily lives. I mean, putting food on the table and gas in the car. How does it work for or against Democrats this time around?
Well, with all due respect, I disagree with your poll. I think that's what people are saying is their most important issue. But I think what the White House is doing is trying to racialize all politics, and they're especially trying to tell the African-American voter that the GOP is against letting them have a chance at a good life in this economy, and that's just a complete lie. I watch with fascination, with incredible fascination, all the stories about how the Democratic politicians, especially Hillary, are trying to whip up the African-American vote and say, oh, the Republicans have policies against black people in terms of the economy. But there are no such policies. The Republicans want a vigorous economy, the same as everyone else. There's that whole idea that the economy is being used in some way to oppress minorities is just an outrageous lie.
Well, and we've seen with Senator Mary Landrieu in a tough battle trying to hold on to her seat down in Louisiana, comments this week talking about how it's not been a good environment for African Americans or for women in the South. So, I mean, that talking point is out there.
It's a complete lie. I mean, the Republicans are every bit in favor of, as much in favor of African Americans having a good life. I'd say more in favor than the Democrats. And the idea that the Republicans are in some way making life difficult for black people is just nonsense. Well, it's just absolute nonsense. I mean, they might as well say the Republicans are coming down from the moon. I mean, it's just nonsense.
Well, but what do you say to their claims that Republicans cut budgets, they cut programs that help minorities, that help poor folks, that they are to blame because they make things tougher on those who don't have advantages and are disadvantaged? The
cuts have been absolutely minuscule, absolutely tiny, unbelievably small, and much more important has been the fact that the Republicans, by virtue of supporting the policies that stopped the crash in 2008, 2009 from being a Great Depression, stopped a real economic catastrophe. I mean, the Republicans are the ones who saved this economy, not the ones who ruined this economy. And as I say, whatever little tiny cuts they might have made here or there in welfare programs, and they were tiny, absolutely tiny. Look, by the way, let me back up a second, Shannon. What are they talking about? More people are on food stamps than ever. More people are getting welfare than ever. What cuts are they talking about? More people are getting government-subsidized health care than ever. What cuts are they talking about? It's all a way to racialize voting in this country. This president is the most racist president there has ever been in America. He is purposely trying to use race to divide Americans. Anyone who investigates it even a little bit knows it's hogwash.
Well, you know that the White House presses back vehemently against those kinds of arguments or those suggestions that the president or that Eric Holder overseeing the, the Justice Department, that they're using race as a way to motivate or to divide. But you seem like you're pretty adamant about that.
Well, there's no doubt about it. I mean, Eric Holder, I'm sure he's a wonderful guy. He sat next to me on an airplane flight once, and he couldn't have been more friendly. But he is a guy who every time there's any kind of issue in the law, he says it's racism by the white police. The white police are beating up on the poor black people. Look, that's just nonsense. And anyway, even if it were true, we don't know that the police are Republicans. The idea that in some way any kind of incident that happens which victimizes a black person is a Republican plot, it's just nonsense. I mean, they might as well say it's a plot by people from outer space. But it just doesn't hold any water.
Has the GOP, though, done a bad job of changing that perception? If that's how those in the African-American community feel, that's their perception, they feel targeted.
Well, they're allowed to feel however they want to feel, but it's basically just an excuse for saying, look, I'm going to vote for President Obama because he's my own race. I mean, that's what it basically comes down to. Obama has basically said, and they're handing out pamphlets about this. It's been described a lot in the Wall Street Journal. They're handing out pamphlets saying, look, the Republicans are targeting President Obama because he's black. You're black. You've got to go out and support him. That's just nonsense. The Republicans are the most pro-black party there's ever been. The Republicans are the ones who passed all the civil rights laws back in the 60s, not the Democrats.
That gets lost in the conversation a lot. All right, Ben Stein, we didn't mean to get you worked up, but it's always good to see you.
Well, I'm sorry to get worked up.
It's good to have you here.
It's an honor to be here.
And come back soon.
I would like to. Thank you very
right.
much.
Thank you.